What is C1?
Welcome to home Pier Point and the European Open Freestyle Finals. With 100 paddlers dropping in and sunshine all day, it's been great for competitors and spectators alike. The comp's been taking place in the Troll Hole, described by one local as a trashy, surgy feature, difficult to set up, but rewards strong, reactive paddlers with big air and dynamic moves.
Hello and welcome to the 2018 European Open Freestyle Finals here in Nottingham. We will be taking you through these finals. My name's James Ibbotson.
And my name's Dave Rogers, and we'll be showing you around and telling you what's going on.
So kicking off these finals, we're going to be starting with the C1 category. These guys have already been on the water once today, earned their top 5 spots. So we're going to see 5 of the best paddlers in Great Britain with some Europeans in there. So coming down in this heat, we're going to start off with Mollie Agar.
So Mollie Agar, she's actually entered the intermediate class and she's squeaked into the finals. So we'll see how she does.
Yeah, following her is Craig Ayers. He was on the GB team for C1 a couple of years ago, so he's got some good experience in competition.
And we've got Matt Stephenson, number 3. He's actually a junior and he's just fresh back from the Euros and the World Cup, so we'll see how he does today.
Following him, coming through into our finals in second place is Harry Price. He's also a junior, so we'll see him twice in these finals, competing in K1 as well. And then rounding these finals off is Adam Rama Dam, a veteran of C1. He's been around for some good years, been on the Great Britain team quite a lot as well.
Let's see how he does today then.
Yeah, we're just a few minutes away from the start of these finals. So the C1 is quite a unique category. So these guys, rather than sitting on their bums with their legs out in front of them, they're actually knelt up on a bit of foam, usually strapped in by at least 2 different straps.
You do a bit of C1, don't you, James?
Yeah, usually I'm out on the water. Unfortunately, not paddling this weekend due to a little bit of illness. But it's always good to see. We've had a massive turnout for C1s this year, which is really good. Really, really good. A huge competition.
So what about C1 makes it extra difficult?
So being that little bit higher up in your boat on your knees makes you a bit more unbalanced. So see a couple of these guys wobbling about a little bit more. However, being higher up gives you way more leverage. So some of these tricks, they're harder to land but easier to initiate. And we see them going a lot snappier and a lot bigger with a lot more air during those tricks.
And a lot of these paddlers are all strapped into their boats to keep them from falling out, as lacking the thigh grips to hold them in. They have to get a bit creative with their outfitting, I believe.
Yeah, people go for different techniques. Some people use snowboard ankle bindings. I myself in my boat have some thigh grips that I've sort of edited to hold my whole leg down. So some of these kit ups, they look pretty sketchy when you look inside the boat, but pretty much everyone's, we hope, is a quick release system. So should they need to, they could get out that boat pretty quickly.
But hopefully today no one will be leaving their boats during the finals. That would be a bit sad to see.
Yeah, definitely sad to see anyone leaving their boats during the finals. These are the top guys in the country. These guys will be battling it out, not just for the title of European Open champion, but also for the British champion as well. So a couple of titles on the line here for the European Open title. We've got some strong favourites in there. Adam Rama Dam, definitely one of the top guys. He's going to come out hard. He's had a few British champion titles in his past.
He's had a busy day today, competing in C1, K1. He even gave squirt boating a go. That man was very deep at all times, so he might be a bit tired.
Yeah, maybe age might not be his friend coming into this final. But we've also got a couple of juniors who are always full of energy. Matt Stephenson and Harry Price. They've competed in a couple of categories as well, but they have age on their side. They're always running around. They can spend days and days just paddling, not looking tired at all. Just kind of depressing.
I don't think I've ever seen Matt not happy and smiling or bouncing around. And I imagine the free Red Bull has helped a lot today.
Yeah, I hope he's not had too many cans, otherwise he might be vibrating in his boat. Go a bit of out of control when he drops in.
You never know, it might give him more air. And I can see a few of them lining up, talking through their rides, getting prepped. They're all looking very excited. Harry's smiling there, getting himself psyched up.
Yeah, these guys in the finals, what they're going to have 3 45-second rides. So that's only 45 seconds to perform as many tricks as possible. It's not much time, but also when it's all going wrong, it can feel like forever. So they'll have 45-second rides. They'll go around that 3 times, and then it's only their best ride that scores. So generally the tactics I've found in my experience of the finals is to start off with a nice safe ride, get some scores on the board, and then go for them risky moves.
And it's a tricky spot today in Troll Hole. If you flush, you're going out and into Fairy Wave. And they're lacking the extra blade to get their power down to sprint back up the eddy line. So we may see some unlucky flushes today.
Yeah, the flushes always play a big part in these finals. If you're on for a stormer but then flush halfway through, that's the end. So the trick is to try and stay in our feature from the start of your ride all the way till the end. Non-stop tricks. And we could see some big scores here. Just a few of the tricks you're going to be looking out for.
Well, the big scoring is the back loop. And when you combine that with some bonuses, with a base cut score of 90 points, it can get pretty large if you can do those.
Yeah, but it's also important not to forget, we have even bigger ones. Some of the biggest moves you can do are those trophy moves right at the bottom of your screen there. So those are moves that aren't quite official moves, not quite meeting the definition of anything else, but they're still really impressive. So the judges have to reward them. Our judges are always looking to give as many points as possible to each paddler.
And extremely difficult to do these moves, especially if you're a judge trying to work out how to score them. And they're getting prepped. They're all looking pretty happy. The scribes are here. Chief Judge Josh Wedgwood is giving them the words. Ooh, they're all looking very lively.
Yeah, it's looking like we're going to have some good finals. We've got quite lucky with our weather as well. The sun has come out. It's been out all day. It's been a glorious day. Hopefully everyone's not had too much sun yet. They can survive one last evening.
It's a bit beautiful today, isn't it? The water's borderline blue, which is unusual for the mighty Trent.
Yeah, if it was blue, I'd be concerned what was going in upstream. A good steady brown is a healthy colour for this river.
Most of the local paddlers are well aware what the water normally looks like, so this will be a very nice change for them.
We have all our paddlers now upstream, just getting warmed up, getting ready, stretching their muscles out. They'll have gone through their routines time and time again. 2 of these paddlers in this final just coming back from the European Championships out in Bratislava, Slovakia, making top 10 positions, both of them. Matt Stephenson, our junior, he came in at 6th, and Adam Rama Dam came down in 9th. So some good results, and I'm sure they're going to look to continue that form on into this event.
You were out in Bratislava, weren't you, competing in the C1?
Yeah, I was also there. I came in at 7th place. It was quite a tricky feature, but quite a nice place to be. A good event, real good fun out there.
How was the party?
The party was quite chilled out. We were down at the surf bar in the evening, just having a few drinks, a few shots. Some of the locals really knew what to drink.
And all the C1s warming up, all in the water, having a quick chat with each other. Oh, and we got a thumbs up from the chief judge, so it looks like we'll be starting very soon. And first up, it's Mollie Agar, bib number 80.
Yeah, so Mollie dropping in from the top. Each paddler will make a decision whether or not to go for what is called an entry move. That is nice, easy points for dropping into the feature and making it look interesting. Some people go for them, some people don't. But Mollie dropping in into a nice, solid side surf.
She's looking very calm, cool and collected, going for the spin. Nice quick roll there and an unlucky flush. Up, 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 Mollie. Back up the eddy she goes.
She's made it into the eddy, no problem at all. She's still got 35 seconds left to go. Oh, just unfortunately catching that shoulder of green water, but making it back into our eddy.
So the eddy is just a small area of recirculating water that'll get you back to the top, and she's looking very relaxed. A nice spin there. Unlucky flush. Keep going, Mollie. Ooh.
That's the last few seconds going in for Mollie. Last 10 seconds.
No, she's missed it. She's out. Straight into Fairy Wave, taking out 2 juniors. Go, Mollie, go.
We could definitely see some of the tricks that Mollie was trying to pull out there on that first ride. She was looking to start off scoring nice and low with them spins, but doesn't mind. She's got 2 more rides after that. But right now, Mr. Craig Ayers.
Another veteran of the GB team in K1, competing in C1 now. Lovely entry move, going right down.
Yeah, Craig, he's getting that entry move, scores right off the bat, surfing over to this side, making the most to set up, looking for a front loop. We saw his entire boat come out into the air there, trying to get that air bonus added onto the points.
Unlucky flush there. He's going back up the eddy. It's a very flushy feature. You'll see lots of the big tricks not quite sticking in the hole. And if you don't stick it in the hole, you won't score it.
Yeah, each trick has to be finished in the hole, retained, as we say. Quite a tricky thing to do in this last couple of seconds now for Craig.
A team square rock paddler in those lovely square rock cags, paddling a carbon Jackson boat. Very nice.
Yeah, some of these paddlers opting to use a carbon fiber boat. It gives them a bit more rigidity in that boat, so they'll get more pop out of the water, and also it's a bit lighter, so they can throw it around a lot easier.
But they are a lot more fragile. And in a shallow hole like this, where there's the risk of hitting the bottom, it may damage the boat. But it's a risk they're willing to take.
But coming up next is Matt Stephenson, our junior, currently on the Great Britain team, 6th at the Europeans. Matt is in a lovely yellow Liquid Logic Vision, an older style boat.
A boat that's possibly older than him. Beautiful entry move, just flushing.
Matt, eyes on this eddy. He's paddling hard, trying to make it, just making it right in the corner. He couldn't really cut that any finer there.
Matt using a beautiful wooden paddle. You don't see many wooden paddles in freestyle. Don't know why.
He's definitely a lover of the old school and the classics. Nice big front loop in the end there. He was fighting hard to keep that nose pointing upstream. It's really important that that stays that way just to score them points.
A very happy man, Matt. Never not smiling, even in the middle of the big tricks. Just going for a McNasty and a Space Godzilla there. Nice amount of air. He's looking happy.
And that is time up for Matt. Tricks all the way to that final whistle, trying to get every point he can from every second of his ride. You can tell he's well experienced. Looking back in that ride, we see him set up, going some nice big air in that front loop, whipping it over his head.
Beautiful. Matt just dropping down now to get ready for his second ride. He's looking pretty happy with that, I'd say. Some lovely cartwheels as well, but unfortunately just after the buzzer. And if it's after the buzzer, it's not going to score.
Yeah, each trick has to be at least initiated before the start of that buzzer.
And Harry Price dropping in. Lovely entry move. Up, 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 Harry. Ooh, unlucky flush there.
Harry, a really tall paddler, so you see he'll use his reach of his arms just to his advantage. I don't know if you can hear, but in the background we've got a bit of Moana playing. So each one of these paddlers has selected the song that they'll have played during their final runs.
And we are very welcome to watch this performance. Beautiful loop there. Harry looking happy. Staying in the hole nicely, just surfing up the back. And he goes for another one. Lovely Space Godzilla. May have slightly hit the bottom there.
Yes, that Space Godzilla is basically just a front flip, but with at least a 90-degree rotation of the boat halfway through it. So you'll see them twist and often show the judges the top or the bottom of their boat.
And that's the final whistle for Harry. He'll be happy with that. Looking to do a bit better his next ride, though.
Yeah, solid start for Harry. But coming up next is the person who came into this final in first place, is Mr. Adam Rama Dam.
He's probably one of the most well-colour coordinated people in freestyle. He's happy up in the eddy, getting warmed up. And here we have a replay of Harry. Lovely loop, Space Godzilla there.
So Ramadam, he is just dropping down from the top. I imagine we're going to see him go for an entry move. He'll look for them big points as he looks for an entry McNasty, trying to fire over straight, catching an edge straight away. But he'd landed his entry move, so hopefully he should get a few points on the board for that, as it looks for a nice big front loop, quite snappy.
Throwing that carbon Gigi round and round. Attempts at a lunar orbit there. It's looking good. It's a very strong start to a ride.
Yeah, Adam really showing his experience. Spinning it around. I think he was looking for the tricky woo then. One of the hardest moves, as by its name, it's pretty tricky.
Lovely back loop there. Going for a McNasty. Straight over, and he flushes.
Just catches his nose. He flushes down. He knows that was a pretty solid first ride. he had the advantage of sitting upstream and watching all his competitors come down, seeing what they did before him. That's quite an advantage. You know exactly what you need to do to move up into that top spot.
And I can see everyone getting ready for their second rides. Do you think they'll be happy with those rides, James?
It was a real mixed bag of first rides. I think some people will be really happy. Some people managed to drop down and do a good few tricks. A couple of people maybe flushing. But Adam, we can see there, really throwing down. I think Adam will be one of the paddlers who's happy with that first ride. But right now, we're back up to the top with Mollie Agar, our female paddler in this heat. She's really battled off a good few men and a good few of the elite paddlers as well to earn her place in this final. As you see her setting up, looking for that front loop, just catching an edge, but retaining in our feature.
Fantastic quick rolls. Mollie recently back from the Malabar River Festival in India, where she beat Nuria Newman in motocross.
So for those of you who don't know, Nuria Newman is a Red Bull sponsored paddler. She travels around the world doing lots of paddling. So beating her in a motocross is a real accomplishment.
A motocross is a head-to-head race down an extremely technical piece of white water. And that's a great achievement for Mollie. And we'll be having our own motocross tomorrow, won't we?
Yeah, tomorrow there'll be lots more fun events. But for now,
lots of carnage.
Our focus is on our freestyle with Mr. Craig Ayers about to come down from the top in that Carbon Jackson kayak, using quite a long paddle, looking for that entry kick flip. So it's a nice roll, trying to keep your head dry as well. That gives you a few points there just for coming in. Craig just flushing off, fighting hard, trying to make the eddy on the far side. It's going to be close.
Oh no. Up, Craig.
Just on the bollard. Very unfortunate there for Craig. Unfortunately, that is the end of his ride. He flushed down. That's it. Ride over.
He looks happy with it, though. Still smiling.
A little bit of a replay. We're going to see him come in. You can see him come around and do that entry move. Hopefully, he stuck it for long enough, so maybe he'll get a few points for that ride, but definitely not the ride he was hoping for.
And our next paddler, Matt Stephenson, choosing to drop in from the side. And he's there surfing onto the shoulder, and he's plugging. Lovely snappy loop from Matt there. And a very stylish kag.
Yeah, I think it's called the Nebula design. But if you can't quite see it, it's got stars and galaxies all over it. Pretty funky. Matt just using them shoulders to his advantages. The faster bit of water, trying to get up to the top of that pile so he can set up for his moves. Maybe looking for the back loop there, but just being a little bit wonky as he looks maybe for a mid-ride entry move.
All these paddlers got incredibly snappy rolls. You need to be able to roll very quickly to stay in that hole, which is one of the greatest things about freestyle.
Matt just surfing back in, and that's the final buzzer.
Just going for a McNasty on the buzzer. He's happy, though. Look at him smile. Give us a wave, Matt.
It's hard for Matt not to be happy. He knows no matter what happens here, we're going to see him again in the Junior Men's K1 final. So Matt, second ride. It was okay. He went for a good few moves in it, but he's got one more to come as his third and final ride. But right now, it's Mr. Harry Price dropping in from the top.
Always very calm and collected, Harry.
Yeah, one of the nicest kids in paddling possible. As he goes for that entry roll, stamps it in for a big loop, real big.
Lovely. He's going again for a Space Godzilla. Very nice. Unlucky flush there off the shoulder. It's a very tricky spot, this, and if you flush, you're going back up that eddy.
Yeah, it's not the biggest of eddies to have to paddle back up, so it's not a lot of time gone, but it is vital time in your ride, eaten up, just for paddling back into our feature here.
A very interesting paddle he's using there. A slightly different shape to the rest, but he's making it work.
Yeah, I've seen Harry in his kayak. He doesn't really need paddles. Harry having a good face surf, popping up eventually. Spent a lot of time upside down.
The face surf is one of my favorite moves.
He had a little shake of the head at the end there. Not quite happy. Matt Stephenson taking advantage of an empty feature to get over to his preferred side.
He just likes paddling, any excuse. And here's a nice replay. Fantastic loop from Harry there. I'd imagine that's a nice air bonus there. And now we'll be back into Adam Ramadan for his second ride. Yeah, he's looking to the judges, waiting for the thumbs up. And over he goes.
He had a fairly solid first ride. He's looking for a big front loop there on his starting. Looking for the lunar orbit. That one has to finish pointing directly downstream to get your move points. As he looks for his back loop. Nice. Some big air during that. Tries to bring it round for the McNasty.
Now, there are a number of bonuses you can score in freestyle. You can link your moves together for a link bonus. You can score air, and you'll get an air bonus. So, for example, Adam's loop just then, very large. Or there's one more bonus.
You can get bonus points for not using your paddle throughout a trick. We call that one the clean bonus. You see a lot of paddlers showing it, really showing off to the judges as Adam goes for a lunar orbit again. Maybe he was looking for the lunar tricky there, linking two really hard moves together. Adam not scared to tackle them big moves, especially when he knows that he's done a few good moves already.
But he's looking very good in that custom Pete UK CAG there. It looks like a plank of wood almost.
Almost.
Very detailed.
So we are now moving into our third and final rides for these paddlers. We're back up to the top with Mollie Agar.
This is her last chance to score a nice set of points there. But I think she'll be happy just to have made the finals.
Yeah, making the finals at this competition is actually quite an achievement itself this year. We've had a good turnout of paddlers, and Mollie's doing good.
We've had international paddlers. We've had some of the best of British. Beautiful.
Lovely.
Nice loop there. And
a spin. Ooh, maybe just catching an edge right at the end. But that's a fantastic start there from Mollie, dropping in and going for that front loop. Hopefully our judges will give her the points for it. She's definitely deserved them.
Mollie paddling a Jackson Fun there. Not the shortest playboat around, is it?
No, it's one of the older designs. So across time, our freestyle boats have got shorter and shorter, designed to do different tricks. So these longer ones are designed to do tricks end over end.
She's clearly making it work. And it's another unlucky flush on the spin there, but she's happy, she's smiling. Having a little victory lap in Fairy Wave.
Yeah, we had a big cheer there from the crowd.
And here's a replay of that loop. Look at her fly, that long boat going right round.
Fantastic. So next up, Mr. Craig Ayers. He's going to be dropping in from the top above our feature, going for that entry move again, trying to get points off the bat. If you remember, in his last ride, he did his entry move and then flushed down. Very unfortunate. I'm sure he's going to be looking to get a bit of payback for that one.
This is Craig's final ride, so an unlucky flush here could mean the end of it. Nice entry move there. Staying in the hole, he'll be happy with that. Surfing out onto the shoulder, trying to set up something. Let's see what he goes for. Going for the McNasty. Ooh, just catching an edge.
Just catch an edge there again on his
Another
loop.
unlucky flush.
Oh no, this is going to be tight again. He's looking left and right. And that's the end of Craig Ayers' C1 final there, unfortunately. Just
He's
another
still smiling, gave the crowd a wave there.
Yeah, Craig spent about the last year living in Uganda, paddling just big waves. So coming back to a smaller hole, completely different type of feature. So it's quite an adjustment. But Craig, on every run, he nailed this entry move. We see him come around, keeping his head pretty dry.
Matt Stephenson going big entry move there. Very nice.
Real good start there for Matt. He knows he's got lots of tricks in the bag, and he's got his eyes on this British Championship title.
Big air on that loop. He'll be happy with that. This is a strong start to Matt's ride here. Going for the McNasty. Didn't like that. He's going to try and set up again. Round he goes, throwing that boat over him.
You can really see him leading with his head, trying to use the momentum of his giant brain to throw his boat around him.
The McNasty is one of the hardest tricks in freestyle, and hence it scores one of the largest amount of points. And he'll want to get that on the board.
Yeah, so far we've seen him come in with a big entry move, followed by a big loop. Looking for that back loop, trying to keep it nice and straight, sell it to our judges. Judges will have a little chat about that, see what they think. But not a bad ride at all there from young paddler Matt Stephenson.
Matt recently back from his European tour, competing in the Euros. I imagine it's not quite as warm as Bratislava, but I think he's pretty happy with that.
Brilliant. So we now go into our last two paddlers. Matt really showing off for the crowd there in the end. But our last two paddlers next up is Mr. Matt Not Matt. We've just seen
no,
Matt.
the other one, Harry Price.
Harry Price, the other junior who's starting to make a name for himself.
The nicest man in freestyle, getting wound up and ready to drop in.
Harry dropping in from the top. Nice entry move there. Just paddling hard, making it stick, dropping over his edge. Rolling up real close. Oh, no.
He's got it. He's got it. He'll be okay. That's one of the tricky parts of C1. Only having one blade leaves you with an offside. And without that extra blade, everything on your offside can be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky one to watch out for. Looking for his McNasty there. Just flushing off the shoulder. Calling it a day there. Not a bad couple of rides there from Harry Price.
He's still smiling. Palm team paddler Harry there.
Yeah, so notice all his kit was made by the same manufacturer. It's Palm, based somewhere down south near the 7 on the border with Wales.
Cleveland, maybe? I may have made that up. I'm not sure. Adam Rama Dam, though, dropping in for his final ride.
Starting off with that front loop, trying to get the air bonus. Just paddling hard, making sure he retains in the feature. Looking for that lunar orbit, spinning round, maybe landed a little bit too sideways there for his points. That doesn't put him off going for it again. Just catching the tail end there as he surfs back in.
He's going all out in this ride. Nice cartwheels there. Some very nice leopard print gaffer tape down the side of his boat. Always stylish, Adam.
That gaffer tape's been there as long as I've known Adam. I think he won't buy gaffer tape unless it is patterned. Adam surfing in from the side. Looking for maybe a cartwheel there. Trying to start some cartwheels from his tail end. Not the usual tactic, but kind of working.
Big nasty just after the buzzer there. Let's see if the judges scored it.
All right, so hopefully we're going to have our scores coming in pretty soon. Some good rides there from our paddlers. 3 rides each. Only their best ride is going to count towards the final tally. Trying to claim that title, a British champion and European Open champion.
Very strong field here today. They've had to beat a lot of people to get where they are now. And here's the replay of Adam's ride. Changing an unlucky edge catch into some nice cartwheels.
Yeah, that's one of the real skills of freestyle, knowing how to recover from those edge drops. And Adam has been around for quite a while. He knows what he's doing. So that was something simple for him to bring it round, keep his head dry, and stay in the feature.
That was a very strong finals. A lot of these paddlers on the GB team, I believe.
Yeah, regularly competing abroad at international competitions, some European championships, world championships, and many other ones in between, dotted around.
Some of them for many years, others are just starting out on their international careers.
We're going to see a few nice replays from this final. Matt Stephenson throwing one of his many impressive loops.
Very snappy paddler, Matt. And Harry going for a big Space Godzilla.
You see him really twisting that rotation up.
Very dynamic, snappy moves a lot of these paddlers are throwing today.
A lot of entry moves as well. Sometimes you don't see too many entry moves, as they are quite a risky trick to start your ride off with.
They are indeed. If you miss your entry move, you could be straight out the hole before you've even started. Mollie Agar throwing a lovely oop in that replay. Very nice.
A real strong final there. It's going to be tough to call who will take the win.
And you can see a few of our women lining up, getting ready for their finals.
You may recognize the first paddler in this ladies' final. It's actually Mollie Agar, who we just saw repping it in the C1.
She's had a stormer of a day, making it into 2 sets of finals. And I heard she's getting pumped for the boat across in the Inflatable Freestyle tomorrow.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be one we will see a lot of.
I believe she's a student at Durham University, regularly competes in other BUCS events such as whitewater racing and slalom and polo. So a great all-around paddler there.
Following her, we've got Georgina Preston. She is well known on the scene. She's been paddling freestyle for quite some years. Now in the Army, so representing those guys. We'll definitely see her come in, maybe pulling some of the old school cartwheel tricks. But it's good to see her back in a final.
And after that, we've got Jen Migaila. Another incredibly nice person, always smiling, always happy to be here. And she goes massive in that tiny boat.
Yeah, definitely not to be mistaken for a junior. She's not very big in size, but she definitely throws around hard.
Next up, we have Emma Weatherford, Nottingham University student, and I believe it's her birthday today.
Yeah, 21st birthday today for Emma Weatherford. So we'll see her a bit later on. I'm sure she'll take advantage of tonight's party as her 21st birthday party.
No matter how this final goes, she's going to be celebrating.
She's 1 year older. Rounding these finals off will be Ila Crosby. She has been paddling for as long as I can remember internationally on the GB team. Just a few weeks ago, she was competing in the finals of the European Championships. Last year, it was the finals of the World Championships. She definitely knows what she's doing.
Although, looking at the screen, she seems to have dropped her paddle. It's not a very good start.
Yeah, not the best of starts. She might need it. Or maybe she's just that confident that she doesn't think she needs it for this final.
Maybe so. Some of our ladies choosing to start in the eddy next to the hole. Some choosing to drop in from above. So I imagine we'll see some entry moves. Others want to play it safe on their first ride. Go straight into their normal tricks, have a surf. Mollie Agar dropping in.
Yeah, we now see her in a slightly newer style of boat than that C1 she was in. Just back surfing on our shoulder, making sure that she retains in the feature. As she plugs for that front loop, real nice, bringing it in straight. Most of these tricks have to land within certain angles in order to score the points. So you'll find them fighting hard all the way to the end to sell them to our judges.
Clearly gaining that second blade hasn't confused her. She's going for a Space Godzilla there.
Yeah, making the most of having two blades in this final. She must be getting pretty tired now, though. This is her fourth ride.
I'm tired just watching.
It's been a long, tiring day.
But at least it's sunny.
It's sunny, and we've got some big finals to look forward to. She surfs over. I believe we're going into the last 10 seconds.
It's a strong ride for Mollie Agar there. I think she'll be happy with that.
All right, coming up next from the Army and Nottingham is Georgina Preston. She's in an even older boat, quite what might be considered a classic these days. A Riot Flare, a real old school boat. Riot's not seen for quite a while now, but she kicks her right off, maybe looking for some cartwheels. Each of these paddlers will have trained quite hard on this feature, so they'll know the sweet spot where every single trick goes.
Those older Riot boats, very dynamic, very fast on a wave, but not the most forgiving. You have to be very careful to keep your edges up. And she's setting up for a unlucky boil there. In a surgy hole such as this, any slight bulge of water can knock you straight out of the hole. But she's back up the eddy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Georgina's just another one of our paddlers who's excited to have made this final. And she cartwheels over there on the shoulder. Georgina just finishing her ride off there, a couple of cartwheels.
Again, a very tricky spot, this one. Probably the hardest on the course, but when you go big, you go big. Nice replay of Georgina's cartwheels. Very good.
Yeah, maybe she just stayed on that shoulder long enough for the judges to award the points to her. We'll have to see. But coming up is the little pocket rocket, Jen Migaila.
And the head judge is giving her the thumbs up, and she's dropping in. Looks like Jen will be going for an entry move. Let's see how it goes.
Looking for that entry kickflip.
Nice.
Trying to keep her hair nice and dry throughout that.
Not wasting any time. Well, she wants to get set up right. She doesn't want to risk flushing after that nice entry. Going for a nice big plug. Big loop there. Lots of air. Maybe even huge.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level of bonus points. Getting that huge bonus. Normally it's pretty big. We only see a couple come out in the competition. If she looks at that Space Godzilla, trying to get that boat aerial and spin round real fast.
Jen firing out these moves one after another. She is not letting any power flips stop her.
One of the advantages of her being so small is that she'll retain in that feature a lot easier. The feature will just hold her as we hear the final whistle there for Jen Migaila. A good ride. Just the first one of two more to come. Not a bad start there from Jen.
Very strong start to our ladies' final.
So we saw her from the start dropping in, cracking out points real quickly with that entry move.
We had a massive turnout for the ladies' final today. And next up, it's the birthday girl, Emma Weatherford, dropping in from the side.
Looking for that Space Godzilla to start off with a bit of rotation there in the middle. Sometimes a trick people get by accident, but it doesn't matter whether you intend to do a trick or not. If you do it, you're going to score some points.
Big loop there, maybe even clean. Emma getting those pinkies out to let the judges know she didn't touch it.
Yeah, not a bad ride here from Emma, looking to cartwheel round in the middle into a split wheel, which is just a change of direction halfway through that trick. An unfortunate flush off the far side as she sprints hard back into that eddy, sprinting back up. Last 10 seconds now for her. There's plenty of time to get another big trick on the board as she looks for a McNasty. A full spin round, full spin straight into that front flip. Quite a tricky move to make look nice, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot of them throughout these finals.
4 out of 5 of our ladies in this final choosing to paddle Jackson Rockstars. Some in carbon, some in plastic, and they all seem to be working very well.
Yeah, quite a popular make of boat. They've really got a stronghold on the market. They've got, obviously, one of their top paddlers, Mr. Dane Jackson. He's one of the top paddlers in the world, so a real good advert. But we can see there what these boats can do with that massive front loop there from Emma.
Especially when you put a talented paddler in them.
Next up, we are just waiting for our judges to give Ila Crosby the thumbs up.
She's ready and raring to go, and we have the thumbs up from the judge, and down she comes. Isla, another paddler choosing to drop in from above, throw an entry move, getting those extra points.
When you see her, she's just out of camera shot at the minute, but when you see her, it'll look like she's almost not wearing a buoyancy head on top. That's because she's wearing one of the PQK Racer STs, where most of the buoyancy is actually in the spray deck covering her knees, just to give her a little bit more flexibility.
Isla having an unlucky flush there after a nice entry move, but she's straight back up the eddy and back in the hole.
Isla well practiced in these finals. Like I said, a few weeks ago, she was in the European Championship final.
Going for a phonics there. A phonics monkey. That is where you do a cross bow pirouette into a front loop. A very difficult trick to pull off.
Especially for the ladies. You don't see too many of them in the ladies' competition. She looks for it again.
Massive phonics monkey there.
We look in the last couple of seconds now for Isla. She goes for that front loop. Just trying to finish that ride off with some big tricks there. Isla really showing her prestige.
Isla's Space Godzilla is always going massive.
Yeah, she didn't let some early setbacks affect her towards the end of that run, going hard right until her final buzzer.
Isla using VE paddles, which are made in Nottingham where we are today.
Yeah, they're quite popular among the freestyle community. We'll see them across quite a few paddlers throughout these finals. Made by local and ex-freestyle paddler Stu Morris. A real nice guy, some good paddles as well.
And that's Mollie Agar dropping in for her second ride. Well, 5th of the day.
Yeah, second ride of this K1 Senior Ladies finals. Just catching an edge, a quick roll in the hole, rolling back up in the middle of the river. She's got quite a distance to go to make it into an 80, but she's made it just to this one right by us here.
Lots of determination and power back up the eddy eye. Going for a loop. Very nice. Right round, staying in the hole. She's going for the spin. Unlucky flush again. But she's still going. She's still got time.
We're moving down to the last couple of seconds now for Mollie. As she looks for that cartwheel, just goes a little bit over vertical on the second end, rolls back up just in time to hear her final whistle. Sometimes frustrating that.
And Georgina Preston getting prepared. Big loop from Mollie there.
It was quite a good solid start of the ride, and she's tried to recover from there. Unfortunately, maybe not quite getting the ride she was hoping for, but she's in the final, so she's made top 5.
Lots of freestyle events going on today, and I believe we have one tomorrow, don't we?
Yeah, tomorrow you'll see maybe a little bit different to this. we're going to have the inflatable freestyle. So that's all your pool inflatables, unicorns, flamingos, pizza slices, sharks, all battling out, doing tricks, trying to become the British pool inflatable freestyle champion.
Some say the most important title to win this weekend.
The most prestigious.
I know I want to win it.
But for now, these guys, they're on the job. Their focus is the floating kayaks.
And we have a thumbs up from the judge.
Georgina Preston, she's opting to come in from the side of our feature. Surfing around, just trying to get to the top of the pile. That's where most moves can be thrown, right at the top of the pile. When you're in the pit, you've got water coming at you from all angles. It's really hard to move your boat around and move yourself around. That's why you'll see paddlers surfing out and trying to get to the top of that pile, as it's the best place to start. As we can see there, Georgina going into the front loop, trying to cartwheel her way out of it.
The feature they're paddling in today, a very powerful hole. It's been the bane of many a beginner coming down here. And it doesn't quite translate on camera how powerful and loud that water is when you're on the bottom of that pit.
Yeah, some of the local kids have nicknamed it Death. But really, it's just a little old troll living under a bridge. Doesn't mean no harm.
Unless you're a fresher.
Yeah, then it'll tackle you a little bit. It'll let you know it's there. Not a bad ride there from Georgina. Good front loop in the middle of it, some cartwheels.
She's got her final ride to go, so let's see what she can pull out the bag.
Just trying to surf back and catching an edge there on the far side.
Must have been the troll.
Yeah, troll coming together. But our next paddler is Jen Migaila, the little pocket rocket. She's a paddler. She's choosing to come in from upstream. She's quite a way upstream, so it'll be a few seconds before we see her appear here on our screen here. But she'll make it eventually.
Jen Migaila, I believe she came 4th in the squirt category at the World Championships in Canada a few years ago. Ooh, unlucky flush after that entry move. But she's going straight back up the eddy. She's got loads of time left.
Jen, she's done time on the Great Britain team in both the squirt category and the float category, so she knows her way around the competition. As you can see her in the middle, looking for that move. That feature nearly as big as she is.
Jen, a student at Cambridge University, so not only is she good at paddling, she's also pretty brainy.
She was shouting something there to the crowd about her backband, so we might see her flopping about a little bit, just not quite sat in a boat properly.
The backband, an integral part of the boat. Oh, massive loop. Who needs a backband, not Jen?
The backband will keep her pulled as far forward in the boat as possible and also keep her sat nice and upright. So if that goes, you end up sat quite far back with your weight all in the wrong places.
Being well connected to your boat is very important in this sport. If you're flapping around inside, you might lose a knee, you may come off the seat, and you're not going to be able to transfer the power that you've built up in your body to throw into these big explosive moves.
Not a bad ride there from Jen. Our next up, our paddler, is Emma Weatherford, our birthday girl, 21st birthday today. But she's setting all fun and games aside to compete, trying to get that British champion title.
I can't decide if that's a game face or if she's got the sun in her eyes.
Either one. She looks pretty ready. As we see Jen's huge loop. We really saw her pop out of the water there, real big, selling it to the judges. Emma watched that ride from the side, so she'll know exactly what she needs to do. Emma sprinting hard, trying to make it into the feature, making it in, just settling down as she looks maybe for the Space Godzilla there, not quite taking off with that move.
Not as strong as her previous ride, but we'll see how she can finish.
Emma has definitely done the international circuit a few times, so she knows what she can do and she knows she can pull it out the bag with that big front loop there.
Competed all over Europe in many competitions, spent some time in Uganda honing her big wave moves.
As a junior as well, got a good few international medals at the World Cups and various events like that. And that is time for Emma just as she makes it into the eddy, but she's opting to drop down. Maybe we're going to see something special for run 3.
Luckily, all paddlers have 3 rides, and it's the best one that counts. So as long as one of them's good, you're away.
All right, we can see our judge now giving the thumbs up to Ila Crosby. Coming in from above. Isla's first ride, probably not what she was hoping for, but no stranger to this. So she's going to be able to come out of the blocks, forget about that first ride, and start again from scratch.
Unlucky with the entry move there. Nice quick roll. She made the eddy. Has she made the eddy? She's okay.
Isla making it really hard work, but she's just made that eddy. Sprinting back up. She's still got 30 seconds left to go. So there's plenty of time for Isla. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she looks for that phonics monkey. Not scared to go for the hard moves right out the bat. She looks for a big Space Godzilla there. Really showing the judges the top of that boat. Real nice colours. Quite shiny. I think there's a bit of glitter involved on the bottom there as well.
Another Jackson Rockstar, but this time in carbon. Lovely sparkly bottom. Made in Canada by Murky Waters, who have been making surf kayaks, play boats, and squirt boats for years. Very light, very stiff, very well-made boats.
Yeah, not quite the run there I imagine Isla had in her mind, but it's what she managed to deliver there. Luckily for her, she'll have one more ride. So you can see here, Isla went for a good few phonics monkeys, getting that rotation, maybe not quite lifting off for the loop at the end. Real tricky move to do, but Isla getting stuck in there.
Mollie Agar dropping into Troll Hole for her 3rd and final ride. Nice loop to start it off. She'll be happy with that. Going for a spin on the other shoulder. Retaining nicely and setting up for another one.
Looking for them cartwheels.
Nice cartwheels.
End over end. They've got to be at least over 45 degrees. So it's quite high when you're in a feature that's throwing your boat around everywhere. You've got to be really controlled. So it's a relatively low-scoring move, but quite difficult to do, especially here.
Big power flip there from Mollie, but she's back in the hole. This is a good ride. Lots of moves, lots of time in the hole. She'll get some scores on the board.
Really doing well there from Mollie. Last couple of seconds as she floats into the eddy, but she's got a big smile on her face. We can see her drifting off down, just off screen. Real good ride there from Mollie. A super final ride.
2 finals in a row. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, not bad at all. We can see her on the replay. Nice loop, followed by that brutal power flip. The judges here next to us really taking a deep breath in. Does that look quite painful?
It's a very powerful hole for something that looks so small.
Right now, Georgina Preston coming in from the side. She starts her time, plugging that nose, looking for a loop, taking a quick roll. Just flushing it off.
Georgina. Back in the eddy. She'll be heading back up to finish her ride.
Everybody in the stands cheering her on. That's the beauty of freestyle. Everybody gets behind everyone. It doesn't matter if it's your competitor or not. You're going to cheer them on. Such a friendly sport. As Georgina goes into her last 20 seconds, that's still plenty of time for her to get some points. As she looks for that front loop just onto the shoulder. She's calling it a day there. She knows it's not her best ride, but happy to have made that final yet again.
Georgina having a nice surfing fairy wave to finish her final, throwing some cartwheels. And we have a thumbs up for Jen Migaila.
Yeah, we can see Georgina really spot on with her rolls, but maybe them just taking over from the tricks now and again in that ride.
Jen Migaila's dad, Dan, here cheering her on. He'll be happy to see this, and a lovely entry move to start the ride.
Yeah, Jen may be one of the silent favourites for this title. You don't see her too often down here, but she can pull out the big tricks still.
Competing for many years as a junior, and she goes big when she flies. And there we have it again, ladies and gentlemen, a big loop there.
Yeah, and she's not afraid to get stuck in, slap bang in the middle of that pit. A lot of people are quite scared of it, but Jen doesn't faze her. She gets stuck in.
Last 10 seconds. Ah, just catching a boil on the shoulder there. But she's happy, she's smiling. And next up we have the birthday girl back again. Looks like she's going to drop in from the side. She doesn't want to risk flushing on an entry move.
Yeah, this is Emma's final ride at these finals, her last chance to hopefully take home that title. We're not quite sure what the results are yet. I think they're being kept a secret for now, making everyone wait in suspense.
Emma using Mitchell blades, an old brand of paddle made in England. Very light, very strong, made of carbon fibre, and she's putting them to good use. Yeah,
Mitchell blades, they also come in lots of colours, so they're quite funky, and we see a few people using them just because of that.
It's one of the great things about freestyle, it's very colourful.
Yeah, sometimes people think that colour coordination gets you bonus points, which, if I was running it, it'd definitely get you bonus points.
Personally, I think there'll be a rule change eventually. But Emma throwing some nice moves down, some nice spins, a nice loop. She's setting up. She doesn't want to risk flushing.
She looks, maybe she was going for the lunar orbit there, just catching the edge a tad early, coming down. And that's the last 10 seconds now for Emma. Definitely looking for that lunar orbit, a real big scoring trick. Hoping she can nail it. And that is time up there for Emma as she drifts off downstream. A big cheer, some good final rides there for Emma. Not a bad run at all.
45 seconds really isn't a lot of time when you've got to get in a lot of moves. With these moves taking maybe 5 seconds each, that's a very limited amount of time. You've got to show what you can do.
All right, so we have now our final competitor of these K1 Ladies Finals. It's Miss Ila Crosby. Ila actually a fully qualified doctor in day-to-day life.
A very useful person to have around.
Yeah, but a very busy schedule between being a doctor, training and competing abroad. I'm not quite sure how she manages to pack it in. But then on top of that, she's always happy. And with paddling like that, it's hard not to be.
That was a big entry move. Unlucky flush off that shoulder when she's trying to set up for a new one, though. But she's back in there straight away.
Isla just setting up, looking for a massive front loop then. Huge air. We saw the entire boat come out of the water and her entire body. Isla really pulling it out the bag for her last ride, looking for that big Space Godzilla, landing on the shoulder. Quite a risky tactic, but she's pulling it off right now.
Making it very easy for the judges to give her those air bonuses.
Just catching a bubble of water there, moving into her last 10 seconds. I'm sure she's going to want to show us a big move to finish things off.
Very cool, calm and collected in this. Going for a big phonics. Unlucky.
Yeah,
she's going to throw another move, though.
Woo! A top run there from Isla, really pulling it out the bag on that final run. Her first 2 rides, maybe not ideal, but that final ride definitely back up to the standard that we've seen Isla paddle at.
And that's the end of our Ladies K1 final.
We can see the results there. Isla's final run really putting the benchmark out there. 340 points for Ila Crosby, making her our British champion and European Open winner. Real good scores there.
Some slight score issues there.
But Ila Crosby there with that final ride, huge air. You can see absolutely everything coming out the water. She'll have got a big bonus for that one. Definitely earning her the title of British champion.
A lot of these freestyle paddlers don't actually like getting wet, hence the massive air.
Yeah, the whole idea is not be wet, especially when a lot of these guys are training through the winter. You'll see snow on the ground, but those guys jumping in, that's the time to learn to go real big. Keep your head out of the water.
It was a tricky winter this year with the beast from the east throwing snow and ice everywhere. But these guys have been out every day training hard to make it happen.
So another fantastic final there from the ladies. They've really set the benchmark high for the men who are going to be coming up next. We can see a lot of these big moves. Jen Migaila there, huge front loop with a broken boat there, I believe that was. Emma Weatherford, another big loop. These girls showing that they can throw big. Isla looking for that phonics monkey. So the
very tricky move, the phonics monkey.
Yeah, so breaking the phonics monkey down, that's a 360-degree pirouette. Starting off with your paddle across the front of your boat. That on its own is difficult enough. But to link it into a loop that'll land nice and straight, pointing upstream, that is at the top end of difficulty.
And if at any point the end of the boat drops below, I believe it's 60 degrees, the judges won't score the trick.
Yeah, so really difficult to score. That's why you'll see a few people going for it. Definitely coming up in our K1 men heat, you'll see them going for it. But these ladies, they flew high during that final. Big scores, real good.
The men on the water now warming up. They'll be excited to get going after seeing all this. First up, we have Johannes, who is actually only international in the finals, I believe.
Yeah, Johannes coming all the way over from Germany for this competition. I wish I could say he come just for this, but he's definitely been working over here for a while. Saying he's from Britain, definitely German with a name like that, especially when you can hear the music that he's going to drop into.
All our paddlers choosing their own entrance music for this finals.
Yeah, just another feature of this event, trying to make it unique and as fun for the paddlers as possible. Some people having a joke, trying to relax with their music. Some people using it to pump themselves up, get them ready to go.
And judging by the turnout today, it clearly works.
Yeah, we've got a big crowd over on our far side of the river. Paddlers who've just been on, cheering people on. Paddlers who've not been on. Members of the public, real good. Nice to see everyone here supporting our paddlers that have come down to compete.
Lots of paddlers who aren't in the finals still playing around on the course, making the most of the lovely weather and the beautiful features we have.
Yeah, so in this K1 Senior Men Final, we've got Johannes Barden, Jake Boswell, Charlie Brackpool, Sam Wilson, and finally Gav Barker. Some big names in there. A good few members of national teams. A few people who are on the edge and narrowly missed out. But we're going to see a big team. I believe we've got the entire Great Britain team from Bratislava, the European Championships a few days ago, with Gav Barker, Sam Wilson, and Charlie Brackpool. But I believe our first paddler is giving the thumbs up. Johannes Barden.
Big entry move from Johannes in that very well-decorated Gigi kayak. I believe it used to belong to the world champion Kim Fontaine, and Johannes is clearly putting it to good use.
Yeah, maybe a bit of that world champion magic has rubbed off in it as he throws that McNasty almost out of nowhere. These guys really using their power to their strength to throw tricks where they probably shouldn't be able to.
Unlucky flush there, that angry monkey not looking too pleased.
Yeah, Johannes just paddling back up our eddy here on the near side. Going back into the feature. Johannes paddling here most nights, so he's well acquainted with this feature. He'll know exactly where to throw stuff. And that's our final buzzer here for Johannes as time up as he just rolls his way out of the feature and downstream.
He does not look happy with that ride. It's strange, because that was a very nice ride.
Yeah, he started that one off there with a real nice entry move coming in from the top.
And Jake Boswell, a local around here, dropping in for his first ride, choosing not to go for an entry move, playing it safe.
Jake on a day-to-day basis selling these kayaks to people. So he can sell them. He's showing now that he can also paddle them as he looks for that McNasty right on the shoulder.
A very snappy and dynamic paddler, Jake, throwing that carbon boat around. Another paddler with some fantastic colour coordination.
Yeah, Jake definitely looking for them style points, surfing about.
Just throwing these tricks one after another, not wasting any time.
Looking for them cartwheels on the end. Jake, he's been paddling freestyle for quite a while, so he's well acquainted with the score sheet, knows exactly what scores and what doesn't. As his final whistle goes, just as he makes it into the eddy to paddle back up.
Jake's had a busy day today, competing, commentating, running around like a maniac.
And trying to sell as well, I believe. But we can see from his replay, as he looks for that phonics monkey there, that we saw Isla going for in the previous heat. Jake going for it as well. Real valuable points that you can earn by pulling out a big trick like that.
And next up we have Charlie Brackpool, Nottingham Uni student. He's competing in a few World Championships now, and Europeans.
He's very color coordinated. Boat, Kag, and hair, all orange. As he looks for a big entry, McNasty throwing the boat straight into the air, into that front loop. Trying to spin it round, looking for a McNasty. Here in the senior men, you're going to need a lot of points to take that title, and Charlie is definitely making a good bid for it.
Charlie, a big fan of Germany.
I hear one of his favorite foods is sage and onion stuffing. He could live off the stuff. Charlie paddling hard back into the eddy, sprinting back up, trying to get back in time. Last 10 seconds now for Charlie. Looks for his Space Godzilla, firing himself upstream, pirouetting out of the feature, looking for that elusive Phonics monkey.
It shows he spends a lot of time practicing this very course.
Yeah, Charlie recently, just last year, moved to Nottingham to study at the University of Nottingham. I believe he's doing architecture, so he's going to be here for a while. Quite a lengthy course.
I'm told he spends a lot of time turning cardboard boxes into buildings.
It's his speciality.
Charlie actually competed in the World Championships out in Argentina last November and had to carry a cardboard model of a building all the way back with him.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I travelled with him and he was very protective over it. I'm not quite sure why. He didn't manage to get much done out there.
It looked just like a box to me.
But coming up next is Mr. Sam Wilson. He was out in Bratislava just a couple of weeks ago at the European Championships competing. He did quite well out there, but now it's time for the European Open. Kicking off with a big entry move there. Sam looking to start things off well. As he looks for a huge front loop. You can see him really sitting up and trying to launch his boat as high as possible. Sam coming from Lee Valley down south near London, where they held the Olympic Games in 2012. Paddling and training on there. Spent a lot of time paddling back up to this feature. Probably a little bit more than he should have.
He's putting in all the effort though. All our men's finalists today paddling Gigi carbon kayaks made in France, and they're all throwing them around nicely. Big moves there from Sam. Right
in the last few seconds. Sam really showing that he's performed a lot of competitions, knowing that those last few seconds can be put to good use. Throwing down some big tricks, kind of boost that score right at the end.
Sam, a big fan of Smartie cookies.
I hear he lives off Smarties, chocolate and plain pasta. That's the diet of athletes there, if I've ever heard it.
Apparently
but
so.
It puts it to use as we see a lot of his tricks going big, linking from one to the other. So something has to be right there for him, working there.
I may have to try it. Gav Barker getting pumped down in the eddy. He's getting ready to drop in for his first ride. Currently sitting in first place after the heats, so we'll see how he does.
Gav Barker also in the Racer ST. That life jacket being built into the top deck, the waterproof top and the spray deck, stopping water in, just giving a bit more flexibility. I'm sure we're going to see him put it to good use. There we go, that elusive Phonics monkey. Gav making it look easy right off the bat as he surfs around, just trying to set up on the top of the feature. Looking there for his lunar orbit, trying to link it into some cartwheels, throwing those ends one after another, setting back up. Looking for that Phonics monkey in the opposite direction. Gav really making these tricks look easy. Big McNasty, boat firing high into the air there.
Gav, another local, showing he knows this spot well. Making it work for him.
That was a space loop. One of those elusive trophy moves that isn't quite a move on its own, but that's big, big points there for Gav. Sure we're going to see him shoot in with a big ride. I can see him down at the bottom here. He's looking pretty tired. Gav actually 37, so one of the veterans of this category. Maybe his age taking a toll there.
Something's getting to him. Nice replay of Gav's Phonics there. So rapid on the rotations.
Yeah, Gav a real whip it there. You see him on that lunar orbit smashing the nose down.
And after that first set of rides, we're back to beginning with Johannes. Looking to improve on his first ride. We'll see how he does.
Yeah, Gav throwing some big tricks, big loops. That's the trophy move there. We can see right at the end. Johannes just dropping in. If you can hear the live feed, the music Johannes has chosen for his finals is in fact the German national anthem. He's taking pride in where he's from. He was shaking his head. I don't think he could quite believe we actually played this for him.
Well, he should know. This event is run to how you want it.
We're not afraid to play some tunes.
Big loop there from Johannes. Just an unlucky flush. He's going back up the eddy though. He's still got time.
Johannes paddling in Nottingham quite a lot recently, and you can definitely tell that through this ride. He's got quite a nice style, just going from one move to another, quite relaxed, quite chilled out, which can be quite useful in high pressure finals like this.
Next up we have Jake Boswell for his second Jake Boswell going for his second ride.
The music he's playing is Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf.
A bold choice there.
Yeah, maybe this ride he's going to come out like a bat out of hell and throw some big moves down, looking for all that Space Godzilla straight away. You could see him looking at his nose like he was trying to link it into another move. Space Godzilla the opposite direction. Looks for a big snappy loop there, straight in the middle of the feature.
So quick on these rotations. He's not hanging around. Jake using an immersion research kit all the way from America. And it's looking very nice today.
Jake just surfing back in. He works here. He paddles here. He spends a lot of his time here.
He knows this spot very well.
Jake moving into his last few seconds now. He's got time for maybe just something quickly. And that is time up there for Jake just as he gets settled. He looks for that phonics monkey. Doesn't quite catch it.
Jake looking happy with that. He scored some moves. Lots of rapid tricks in a short amount of time. Going to have a nice breather in the eddy.
Yeah, decent second ride there from Jake. As you'll see in this replay as he looks for that phonics monkey during his ride. Trying to bring it round. You saw his other blade digging in. Trying to keep it straight. Selling it to the judges. Trying to get them points.
Next up we have bib number 21, Charlie Brackpool, back for his second ride. We'll see how he does.
Dropping in. Ooh, we heard him.
The bottom there.
We did hear him hit the bottom there on that entry move, but he's so dedicated to this ride, he doesn't stop. He just keeps going.
It's risky going for these big moves with a carbon boat.
But it's worth it. That title for some people is worth breaking the boat. This is one of the last competitions of the season, so people are going all out. They want to end this year on a high.
These paddlers can end up spending many hours fixing the ends of their boats. Lots of cracks, lots of sanding, but it's clearly worth it.
Yeah, these carbon Kevlar boats are worth so much money that you definitely opt to fix it rather than replace it.
Charlie going for the phonics there. Didn't like it, so he's going to have another go.
Just spinning round. Charlie coming towards the end of his ride, and that is time. Just digs himself out of the feature on a crossbow. Not a bad second ride there from Charlie. I'm sure he's hoping he's going to move up the leaderboard with that one. After a distinctly average first ride, slightly better second ride there from Charles.
I believe Charles finished 20th at the World Championships in Argentina. A very good result for his first ever international competition as a senior.
Yeah, not bad. 2 years before that, back in 2015, as a junior, he actually made the finals. He came 5th overall, which was a good to say. I remember that trip. Most of it he was spent at the chiropractor trying to get fixed. So a 5th place there, not bad. And he's definitely took the move up to senior as well, making the team and making some notable ranking positions at the major events.
All these moves requiring a lot of explosive power, which can take a toll on muscles that aren't very often used. Sam Wilson dropping in there. Big entry move there, showing off his sponsors. Let the world know where he's from. Setting up for another whoa! Big Space Godzilla. There'll definitely be an air bonus for that. And a big clean loop there. Clean, giving him an extra bonus. Not using the paddle at all to finish the move. Unlucky flush there, but he's going back up the eddy. He's still got time to throw some more moves. Going for the phonics. And 10 seconds to go. Can you get one last trick? Going for some cartwheels. Now that's a very nice ride from Sam there. Big moves, lots of air. He'll be happy with that.
Yeah, Sam's definitely done a good few competitions, so he's going to know to watch the other guys and see what he needs to do to move up our leaderboard, trying to make that top spot to gain the British champion title and the winner of the European Open.
These guys spend a lot of time training at their various spots. Some choose to train here, Lee Valley. There's a variety.
Yeah, in Britain we are pretty blessed with freestyle training spots. We've got them dotted all about the country, so the sport of kayak freestyle is pretty accessible for most people. Even if it just means a bit of flat water, people get really good on flat water and then transfer that over. Sam Wilson, definitely one of those guys.
We saw a lot of that in the squirt class earlier. These guys throwing their boats around on the flat, big moves. And Gav's dropping in for his second ride.
Gavin often, when a move doesn't go wrong, he goes to himself, Gavin! Always funny to see.
Hopefully he'll do it loud enough for us to hear.
If not, I'll fill it in for you.
Well, he won't be saying it then. That was a big Space Godzilla there.
Right now, we're going to be hearing Gavin!
Gavin!
As he sprints back up that eddy. He's still got plenty of time. 20 seconds for Gav is a lot of time to get many tricks down.
Gav, a big fan of bananas.
I'm not sure where to go with that one.
That's all
Gav
I know.
enjoys a banana, gives him lots of energy and the potassium he needs for his day.
Good for you. Gav had enough of that ride. He's not looking happy with that, but with a strong first ride.
Yeah, he had
doesn't
one or
matter.
two good moves in there. We can see there the McNasty bringing round. That's a good few points scoring. And then he brought it straight over there for a big front loop, to be fair. Getting some real air. Johannes Barden dropping in from the side, taking an entry spin. I'm not sure if that counts as an entry move, but it's worth a go.
And it's not up to us, it's up to the judges.
So this is the start of our third and final runs for these K1 men. Making good time through all these heats. Johannes just struggling the roll there, popping back up. He knows it was too late to make it to the side. Unfortunately, just halfway through his ride. That is it for Johannes. That's his final done. So he's going to have to hope that one of his first two rides is a good enough score to get him a title.
And there's a lot of people here today absolutely crushing the media. So many cameras.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see lots of pictures and video of this final as well as this one. Jake really coming out hard. He's coming out like a bat out of hell for this final ride.
Where's the music?
There's only so many times you need to hear a certain song.
I completely disagree. Nice
Jake.
phonics there.
Jake really throwing hard. He's wasting no time chasing those top points.
You'll see a lot of these guys doing the same moves. That's because they want to maximize the amount of points they can score from a tricky spot. Some of the harder moves, such as tricky woos, are a lot harder in this flushy hole, whereas things like loops, if you get it right, it goes very nicely.
Really looking for that phonics monkey towards the end of his time. Just surfing around, closing that run out. Not a bad finals campaign there from Jake Boswell.
Trying to finish off with a woo tricky there. Very strong start to the ride, though.
Solid moves, slap bang in the middle. We can see him there using the middle of the feature. Slightly harder area to use, but a lot more retentive. It'll keep you there. It'll hold you close, not let you go.
Which
So
is
you
just
can
what we all want. A number of features on this course, all very different. We've got the inlet gate, a beautiful, even feature, whereas the troll hole, quite random and unpredictable.
The most important part of any feature is the naming of it. The more interesting, the better. It gets people talking about it. So the troll hole, people have talked about it, and now everybody's here to paddle it.
The name striking fear into those. And Charlie Brackfull, strong start to this ride. Big McNasty.
Just real surfing around, getting set up nicely.
Making the most
Huge.
of being lightweight in that boat, getting all the air. I hope there's some left for the rest of us.
Charlie just surfing out the feature to get set up. Not always a bad tactic when you know you've got time. looking for that lunar orbit, really slamming the nose down into maybe the last end of a tricky. I'm not too sure what the judges will make of that. They'll hopefully make something. They're always wanting to reward these tricks.
Luckily, we don't have to make those decisions.
I'm quite glad that we don't. It's sometimes, especially during these K1 men rides, it can be quite difficult because sometimes there are hidden moves in between. Someone may just do a simple spin, but the judges need to spot that and award points. Charlie there, though, making a lot of his moves very obvious.
The judge is working in pairs today, so you'll have a judge and a scribe. The judge will call out the moves and any bonuses, and it's the scribe's job to make sure it's captured correctly. Any mistakes the scribes make could be very serious indeed, with head judge watching over them all.
There we see Charlie using his power there, slamming the nose down and bringing that tail in, trying to slam the nose down again. Maybe just really selling that left end to our judges here.
The easier you make it for the judges, the more points they'll give you. Sam Wilson coming down for his third and final ride.
Yeah, he's very good on flat water, and he often manages to transfer that flat water technique into the features. But the troll hole, one of the bigger, rougher ones, as he goes in with that entry McNasty. Good start. Quick power flip there.
Sam sitting very high up in his boat. He wants to make the most of that extra reach he's got, help him transfer some power, and a big loop there again.
Yeah, really throwing that boat sky high, cartwheeling around, racking them points up, just cartwheeling, maybe a little bit too much, cartwheeling his way out of the feature, straight into that eddy, sprinting back up, powered by Smarties.
I didn't know Smarties could make you do that.
Looking for that Space Godzilla, maybe straight into a front loop. Pretty funky.
Very coordinated in full GB peak kit. Very nice.
Just drives the nose in there towards the end of his ride. End of time, he'll drop down, have a little play downstream.
Throw in a kickflip on fairy waves to finish off his finals.
Yeah, that is it there for Sam's finals. We can see he dropped in at the start from above with a big entry McNasty, trying to get them points right off the bat. Came in from the side, throws big loops, thrusting those paddles up in the air, trying to show the judges he's not using them. Into end over end, just maybe one end too many there.
And Gav's dropping in for his final ride. Let's see what he can do.
Gav just setting up in the middle, looking for that Phonics monkey. Maybe not quite getting the pop that he normally gets in the middle. Just catching his tail, rolling back up in the middle. He'll have a quick paddle, try and make that eddy and back up. I believe he's made the eddy just in front of us out of camera shot.
Gav's chosen the song Bangarang by Skrillex. I don't know what that says about him.
I definitely had him down as a Joy Division man.
Going for lunar orbits both ways. Very big scoring moves, but very difficult to stick. Setting up for another move. Looks like he's going for a loop. Not quite getting the air on that. And that looks like the final's over. We've seen some big moves, some unlucky flushes. We'll have to see how the scores come out. Charlie going for a nice paddle. Warm down, have a bit of fun. See what he can throw. Throwing some big moves there. Where were they 2 minutes ago? Damn it, Charlie. And just waiting for some scores.
All right, so that is our K1 men. We've got the scores here in front of us for them. Some big scoring rides. However, coming up on top with a big 980 points, huge ride from his very first ride, is Mr. Gavin Barker. He was sort of the favorite coming into this, definitely one of the favorites. But in second place was our orange paddler, Mr. Charlie Brackpool. And not far behind him at all, only 10 points in it between second and third, was Jake Boswell. Real good roundup there for them K1 men.
Very close finals. But unfortunately, none of them know how they've done yet, so they'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, these guys are going to have a little wait before they can see any results. Our judges will make them official, and we will announce them at a party later on tonight. But that was our C1 finals, K1 women and K1 men finals. Some real good paddling there. Big stuff from the women, big stuff from the C1s. The men rounding it off really well.
It's been a beautiful day. The crowd's looking pretty happy. Seen some nice big moves.
So fantastic finals there. Thank you for watching the European Open 2018 finals for freestyle. We will see you again next year.
Goodbye.